What is up, guys? This is Jerry Green and Spencer Lindstrom back with another episode of the Stream of Consciousness podcast. Today we are joined by Christian the Stain Booth. You know, the ladies love that nickname. Stain, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing quite well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Our pleasure.
Well, Stain is back from college. He is
Wheaton.
Yeah.
He is a Geneseo High School graduate of the class of
2018. Represent.
He is majoring in poli-sci. That's pretty interesting. You want to talk about that?
Lamau. I'll probably not do that. But next year I'll probably do economics. But I
Why
don't
the
know.
switch?
Why the switch? I don't know. I was just in my poli-sci class last semester. Like, I love the prof. Like, prof's great dude. Just like,
Is that the guy that has the really quiet voice that you're telling me about?
No, that's my Old Testament professor.
You have an Old Testament class?
Yeah, it's a gen ed.
That's dope.
It's a gen ed?
It's a gen ed.
Oh,
and he looks like just like Dustin Hoffman. Like, you know the short guy from pretty much any movie. He's usually the shortest guy in it. Yeah.
Wait, like Tyrion Lannister?
He's like 5'4". I don't.
Oh, okay. Not him.
He's in
I was
Rain Man.
thinking
That's an old movie. But...
Peter Dinklage. That's who I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's actually like
He's like an actual short
Yeah,
person.
he's an actual little person.
like
Justin
Wee
Hoffman's
Man?
like 5'5".
Wee Man.
Dustin Hoffman's like Tom York. Like
So-
I don't know who either of them.
Radiohead. Tom York.
I always thought it was
Yeah.
Thom. Yeah.
It's Tom. It's
Thom
Thomas.
Yorkie.
It's Thom.
It's just the British way of doing that, you know?
So-
Brits are stupid, but you don't spell Tom with a TH.
They're not stupid. They're just
Thom.
different.
That's
So
like,
wait, what if it's pronounced
Brighton.
like thumb?
Thumb Yorkie.
I don't know.
I don't know what I think of that. I think that really makes me not want to listen to Radiohead as much.
Maybe because maybe his inspiration for writing such beautiful music was getting bullied for being like Thom his entire
I
life.
think
Like I kind of wonder that with like NFL players. You see these people named like Lamangelo or something. It's literally like lemon and Jello put together.
Yeah, Lamangelo and Orangelo.
Yeah, bro.
Orange Jello and lemon Jello. Oh,
It's like I wonder if the reason why they're in the NFL is because they got roasted so much as a kid. It's like
Yeah, you know for sure. Like,
Yeah.
just square
the
the
guys-
screen, Junior.
Yeah, like with the cane.
the Carpatron Duke Marriott.
So Old Testament class. Do you get to like write essays about God smiting people?
Yeah, that's like the highlight
Smite
of the
me,
Old
mighty smiter.
Wait, okay, so, like, first semester, do you have Old Testament, and then second semester, you have
this
New
is actually my
Testament?
first, like... Well, I have to do New Testament. I'm doing that next year. But, like, last semester, yeah.
You're just getting all the bases.
Oh, yeah,
Do
hitting
you do the
all
Book of
the...
Mormon junior year?
No, but I'll probably
What
read
about
that
the
at some
Quran?
point. I'm reading the Quran right now in OT.
It's so
actually,
weird.
Yeah.
Make sure you
We
don't
read the
read
Torah, too.
Don't read the actual passage. Like, if you read this one passage, it just turns you into a Muslim. Like, just reading it.
No, you have to say it out loud, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the original Arabic. I can pull it up, and then you can read it.
I'd rather not.
Who wants to read it? No, it goes for who reads it. You read it.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Booth is going to become a Muslim on this
Wait,
podcast.
are we going to
tonight.
rename him Islam Booth, then?
Muhammad Booth?
That's the most original joke I've ever heard.
Hey, I got that now.
Anyway, to answer your question, I'm switching majors because I don't know, just
Man's got to get the cheese.
because most of the poli-sci majors like want to do like law school or like grad school, and I don't want to do
politicians?
that. Or I don't know, they seem very like a very ambitious folk, you know.
You could be a journalist.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would actually be kind of cool.
I think it would
You
be
could be like the
funny.
next John Stossel.
The journalist or like a blogger, just like just whatever label I want to put on something that I don't like. Just call it alt right. Just call everything alt right that I don't like.
Here's the thing: you should be like alt right, like the full blown Nazi, and then call everything alt right.
No, everyone
Like, when
already
you
makes
compliment
fun of
it.
me for looking like a Nazi because of my haircut and my glasses. Because
You do
I
look
look like the Nazi from Indiana Jones that gets his face melted, you know?
Who's that one, like, witch doctor who, like, killed all the twins and...
Oh,
Mangala?
shoot. Oh,
yeah, bro.
Joseph Mangala.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's a
Is it bad
comparison
that
I
I know
love
that
hearing.
offhand?
That's terrible that you know that offhand. Hey,
I know, like, most of all the
sometimes you gotta
Nazis.
do your Nazi research, though, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Inglourious Bastards at least twice.
That makes you basically alt-right.
Yeah,
How's that make you
I'm
feel?
basically a Nazi at this point. I've seen
I mean, I'm
Inglourious
80% German, so
Yeah, his name's Green, brother.
that's a fact, bro.
Is that a German last name?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it was like changed from like Greenberg
From,
or
like,
something like that
from
to
Hitler?
Green.
I by far have
It
the
was
best.
changed from Hitler to Green.
The German side of my family has by far the best German name I've ever heard. Kuhlmann. Kuhlman.
Why would you change
Kuhlman.
that? That's dope.
Because, well, like my grandma was born Kuhlman, but
That's
then she
Beast.
married a Booth, and now I'm Booth. Yeah, it is Beast. Oh, that's the worst adjective I've ever heard in my life, but unfortunately
God.
I'm stuck into saying it now.
Oh man, I remember calling everything Beast in like second grade.
Yeah,
Everyone was like, "Dude, that's so Beast."
Yeah, the word Beast.
Epic was the best.
I feel like the word Beast is accompanied very well with like a Monster Energy drink, you know? Just like Monster Energy drink and just like
No, not even
a Red Bull hat.
It's
No.
worse than Monster Energy,
No,
bro. Beast
Monster
is
is like at the bottom. Like I imagine Beast is like this chubby second grader that like did some kind of like fancy crossover when they're playing pickup basketball at the playground, and then bricked the layup, and then he was like, "Dude, that was almost so Beast."
no
It was
Beast.
nearly Beast, bro.
Beast is the fat kid at the birthday party who drinks a Mountain Dew Kickstart
Yeah,
and plays
it's Mountain
Call
Dew.
of Duty. It's just talking about how awesome he is.
It's not Monster.
360
it's Call of Duty.
no-scope, bro.
Yeah, like some MLG Pro action going
Yeah.
on.
Oh, baby.
Well, that's like the difference
You see this
between
Beast
like
quick scope.
I remember I had this friend when I was like 8th grade or 9th grade, and I had like never played Call of Duty before, like in my life. I wasn't allowed to. And
Oh, I can relate.
Yeah, and I was so bad, and it was basically like one of those where like you try to get like 15 kills in the first set, like wins or whatever, and he was up
Yeah.
like 14-1. So he's just like, okay, you're clearly gonna lose this, so just get about 10 feet away from me, and I'm gonna try to 360 no scope you. So I just stood there for like 10 minutes while he was jumping and rotating in the air, just blindly shooting. And when he finally got me, he made me watch the replay, and I'm like, no, this is time of my life I can't get back, man. Oh, it was the worst.
Don't make me live through that humiliation.
oh man.
I was such a socially awkward kid back in the day.
I remember when I was like the Call of Duty god when MW3 came out, and I was in my own like
No, you
clan
weren't.
with people. No, straight up, straight up, bro.
I
was in
guarantee
the
you
clan.
you're not the goat.
Okay,
man.
I wasn't like MLG pro level, but I was like decent. Like I was the kind of dude that you'd be like, man, he must have aimbot.
Spencer, you
Not
get,
to toot
you
my
get
own
12
horn or
kills
nothing.
against the rookie bots.
I've
playing solo player on the local play because
Yeah,
you couldn't
that's a
afford
fact.
Xbox
Like,
Live.
like
That's
the
a
guy,
fact.
like the
I
type
have
of
fallen
bots where
from
like when
grace.
you're right next to them, like they just kind of like shoot the ground or something.
Yeah.
Like,
And then you're on a roll and you're at like 25 kills, and then they all of a sudden get good and then just kill you.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Did I
man.
answer your first question?
What was our first question?
Like, why am I switching?
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think you
yeah,
really did.
okay. Yeah, we kind of go off on tangents. That's
Yeah.
That's the whole
but-
point of the podcast.
Oh, of course. But
Intellectual dark web.
basically, I just like the major of econ, or I like my econ class a lot more. Like I understand it very well.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, the goat! Yes.
Except she has, what, 2 years of
yeah, she has a
econ?
bachelor's of econ.
No, that's 4 years.
Bachelor's.
Shouldn't it be a
Associates is 2.
Shouldn't it be a bachelorette? That's kind of...
That's sexist.
Baccalaureate, or however you spell that. That's how it.
Bachelor.
Bachelorette.
Don't ask me how to spell it.
Well,
Yeah.
I know like the term bachelor's degree comes from like the original
What
term
was
that's
your-
like you know like magna cum laude and like summa cum laude when you graduate. Basically, like you'll hear it at graduation when you guys do it. There's the term bachelor came from
Is that
like
that
baccalaureate,
stupid
so it's
song?
kind of like
That we have to listen to?
No, that's the.
Yeah,
that's not.
No, it's...
That's not grad-
Palm and
dun,
happenstance.
dun, 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 dun,
Oh, that one, that one.
dun. Yeah.
No, I did the
Stupid
marriage
Followed
song.
followed by the followed by that
Bum,
followed by that Green Day song that everyone plays. Good riddance.
What do you think our senior song is gonna be?
Probably one that hasn't come out yet.
Shoot,
Bro, I hope it's like Minnesota by Lil Yachty. You know,
Get a Minnesota
you know how dope that'd be?
Or like some like
anything
Lil
from
Pump song.
Dynamite.
Yeah. Everyone's like,
Oh.
oh my god, this is the worst class to ever graduate.
Ours
Everyone's
was something funny, but I forget what it was.
It was Sweet Caroline.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't it?
That's not that funny. I feel like every high school around the world has a Sweet Caroline as a graduation song.
Yeah, no, we need, like,
facts though.
People at Walmart by Big Papa Gingy.
Bro, don't tell people about...
I won't elaborate anymore on that.
we're
I don't
not
even
going
know if
there.
Stain knows about
That's
that.
a distant time in the past.
That's something I'd rather not explore at the moment.
We'll hit it after the podcast
I'll tell you what. If I'm really bored in the next couple of days, which is inevitable, I'll have to hit up that and then be scarred for life.
Or,
That sounds like a good idea to me.
yeah, I think people at Walmart would be the best. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
So how's college?
It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy cross and track a lot more than I thought I would. The team's just really fun, but like.
Are the parties as cool as everyone says?
He doesn't go to parties.
I don't go to any.
goes
I know
to Wheaton.
the only
There's
reason I asked
parties
him that
up there. They're
is
just
so he
off
can feel
campus.
bad about himself for not going to parties.
Yeah. I don't know. I do Smash Ultimate parties. That's a Wheaton approved
Bro, I
party.
should have brought my Switch.
Elijah wasn't using it.
All I play as is Bowser or Pikachu. So
Dude, you gotta get that grind as
just-
Kirby.
Oh yeah, I zoinked on Ganondorf with Kirby. I don't even know how.
Kirby's so OP
Oh,
though.
man.
He's got that big like hammer swing. Oh,
So you guys like drink 7-Up and play Nintendo?
yeah, we play Nintendo a lot, but
I
we
can
drink
respect that.
Sierra Mist because that's what we're given.
So
Well, I drink just water now because I'm trying to cut off the levels
the
of
sugar,
sugar that I've been
your,
on.
your Dwight Howard levels of
Oh,
sugar.
baby.
Elaborate on that.
Oh. Yeah, Dwight Howard, like 6 years ago, the NBA player,
Yeah, he
was
did
like,
a pack of Skittles before every game, wouldn't he?
well, not only that, he had the equivalent of 24 Hershey bars worth of sugar every day, which I did the math, it's over 400 grams of sugar.
I mean, if you're
Every day
if you're
for
burning
over a
like
decade.
3,000 calories of basketball
Yeah,
practice,
he was
so
5%.
No.
it's not.
He's 6'11" and like 5%
But, like,
body fat, so
When he
get away with it.
went to sugar rehab, like, because they had to take him to sugar rehab, it was
Yeah, you
affecting
told
his play. He couldn't feel his fingers.
Well,
And he
had
couldn't catch the passes.
He's like diabetic
yeah.
now, isn't he?
He had pre-diabetes. It was like he had tingling in his like arms and legs, and he just couldn't catch the ball.
Yeah, how does a 6'11", like 8% body fat person have pre-diabetes? You know how
He
much
eats
sugar? I know
400
how much
grams of sugar.
That's insane.
And they had to take,
At
like,
least 5%.
literal boxes of candy out of his
They
house.
said like any addict, he had two places in every room where he had it. And when the Orlando Magic gave him his contract extension, they put Rolos right on the table. And like a whole bunch of like Skittles and all of his favorite candies around the room, so it would just sweeten the deal.
Literally.
Yeah, so basically, I didn't want to be that, and I'm slow enough as it is, so I was like, you know what? I need to lay off this sugar, and just kind of also just a cleanse in general, because, you know, you gotta get that toxic stuff out of your life.
Gotta get that
fact,
X-Lax grind
Yeah,
going.
you gotta write, you know what, sometimes it's just, you're in the mood to just write one of those Instagram rants and just post
Bro.
that stuff to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah,
How it be.
So about that Instagram rant.
Oh yeah, yes. About that. I basically was in a place in my life where I was just, you know, just booling, listening to Jordan Peterson every day, as you do.
That's not a bad place to be.
It's not, well, I mean, the only complaint I hear about him that, like,
Is that he's
is
all
like-
right?
yeah, because I hear a lot of people group him in with, like, conservative.
He's
people
really
like,
not
like
that
Ben Shapiro.
conservative.
Like,
Dude,
people ask him his opinion on these things, and you can tell he doesn't want to
Yeah,
answer them.
he's
Like,
been-
because he wants to, like, he just wants to talk about, like,
Helping people.
helping.
Yeah.
He's a
In
psychologist.
psychology.
That's his job.
Yeah, he's been so much more stressed recently.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and watch his older like YouTube videos, he seems so much more like happy and because
Yeah.
he's like talking about things he actually cares about. But now he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, because now people are just
Yeah.
like, "What are your thoughts on the Nazi presence at your rallies?" And he's just like, "I don't like Nazis." Like, and then people associate him with the alt right because if you call someone alt right, like,
he's unwillingly
Yeah.
become like this figurehead for conservatives and not even conservatives, but like anti-leftists, like
A lot of
radical liberals.
libertarian, definitely.
He's like a figurehead for that movement, which I don't think he really ever intended
No,
to be.
he never
or
wanted to
to
do
be
that.
at all. But now he's kind of just assuming that responsibility.
Well, it's all started
because
with
he's
his,
helping a lot of people, especially young men who kind of are like lost in their life and don't
Yeah.
really know what to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people see that, like, because a lot of the journalists that, like, just have an out for him, they just go to his rallies and it's like, like
Oh,
80.
why are there
like,
only
it's
men?
it's like
Yeah,
it's
all
like
these dudes.
it's like 85% men or something, and they're all under 30.
Yeah.
Mostly, some of them are in like 30s, 40s, but I feel it's just like because he discusses it as like a lot of men are like kind of talked against nowadays, you know?
Yeah,
because a lot of them are.
It's not good to be a man.
Yeah.
Like masculinity is
Yeah.
kind of like frowned upon.
Well, yeah, and a lot of they're told that they're cultural oppressors from the time they're like yay high. So like
yeah, exactly.
which regardless of like what you think on that, that's obviously a terrible like thing to do to someone's mind when they're that young. Just like because you are this, you are likely to be an oppressor. Like you could tell them, like as a parent, you could tell your kid as a young age, just like, hey, there are some people that just treat people like, you know, garbage. So
don't do that.
yeah,
Or you
don't
could be like,
don't
hey.
do that. And when someone does that, just stand up for the person.
stand
that
up
they're-
for him.
Yeah, and just don't
people,
don't
not
be mean.
professor.
That's basically.
Yeah, so if you're raised your whole entire life to think that you're this like crazy privilege, like better than thou, like you have the guilt of like oppressing all of these people just by being a man, and then B, you on the flip side, when you're not achieving things in life and when you're not like being successful, then it kind of leaves like a self-doubt because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be this like privileged man, you know?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be successful and like
Yeah,
powerful
and it's putting a whole new pressure on these people, and not only that from a white male perspective, but on the other end, like if you're on that other end of the spectrum where you're like super oppressed, like I don't know, black,
What?
female, transgender,
in
etc.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, etc. Like you're like the way that a lot of people like portray it is like you're not going to be successful because these people want to keep you down.
Yeah.
So a lot of people I feel just won't try because they're like if
Yeah,
someone's
they're
going to
like-
hold me
it
back
breeds
at a
the
certain
mentality
point, what's the
in
point of me
their
trying?
head.
and then they don't have any sense of like responsibility for like
if they
them
fail.
being if they're in a bad situation.
take action.
It's not their fault. It's society's fault.
Oh, yeah.
because
And-
I'm oppressed.
Yeah,
and,
and
like,
that and at a certain it's a total individual thing, and like with Jordan Peterson, he always talks about the individualist. Like I've never seen a man cry over individualism. That man's like he's a very touchy feely guy, and like
and everyone's
because
because
everyone-
this like crazy
yeah,
like evil.
because everyone
bigot.
because these journalists want to put people in a box because that's what they need for their story, and I get it
Yeah.
because they have like a 2-minute segment on them. Like you got to keep things short.
Well,
like
another thing is identity and identity politics is so like ingrained in society now.
Yeah.
Like you don't look at people as an individual person. Well, not everybody, but this is just what
Yeah,
it seems
as
like
a whole.
generally.
Yeah, a lot of-
but
yeah, a lot of
you,
people
you don't
just-
view them as like an individual person. You view them as like part of a specific group. So like we're all straight white males. We're not Spencer, Jerry, and Stain. We're straight white males in an upper middle class town. You know, and I'm not like. Or this random person isn't like a smart African American who's good at cross country. He's an oppressed black male, you know.
yeah.
And you're either on the left or on the right, and I just think
Yeah,
identity politics is stupid
Yeah,
because
and
you can't just put people in boxes and categorize them.
Yeah, and with that is when you breed that area for the identity politics, people actually start believing it, especially like on the extremes of either end.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you criticize their ideas, they're personally, like they feel personally attacked, and they shouldn't. They're criticizing their ideas, not
the people,
people.
yeah. But when
Unless it's people that are, committing violent acts, then you can criticize the people, but in most cases you're not. You're criticizing their ideas that could lead to bad.
I also hate the idea
Yeah.
nowadays that like, because like some of Jordan Peterson's like followers, quote unquote, have like supposedly committed like terrible acts against various groups as like hate crime kind of stuff, and they're just like, what are you telling your followers in order to do this? Like they hold these people responsible for what their followers' actions are. You know,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It should not be like that.
that's a terrible
Like,
that's a terrible way to think. You know,
with
Just-
Gavin McInnes, that's a great
Oh.
example. I mean,
Oh.
I'm not exactly the biggest fan. I mean, I think he's
he's like-
funny, but
he's like a Ben Shapiro character to me. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of like
he's
I feel like
entertaining to watch.
He
but
tries
he's,
to just trigger the libs.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. That's-
like just if you trigger the liberals, that makes those two happy.
Yeah,
like
like-
and that's I don't think that's a very
yeah.
good
It's
mindset to
funny,
have.
but it doesn't move things forward. But
Yeah.
with his
solidifies
what's it
that
called?
right.
Something Boys.
Oh yeah, I know. You're
Yeah.
talking. It's
Yeah, me
like some
too.
organization.
Yeah, his organization that was meant I mean, it was originally meant to be, like, for young men to get their lives on track, kind of like with Jordan Peterson, but it was like an organized group, and they would have meetings in their different areas or whatever.
Yeah, Proud Boys.
Proud Boys, that's
yeah,
what it was.
Yeah.
And they went to the South Carolina protests back when that happened. What was that, 2 years ago?
South Carolina?
Yeah.
What was that?
The alt-right.
The alt-right one.
Oh, is that Charlottesville, you mean?
Charlottesville,
Virginia?
Yeah, in Virginia.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah, and then...
They went to that, and then there was fighting, and
then that chick died
Yeah.
because she got ran over by the crazy alt-right guy.
Yeah, and they got grouped in with that. And, I mean, yeah, there were Proud Boys there that were beating people, but that was, like, maybe 10 out of 10,000.
And a lot of like, because we see the left criticize the right for that, and you see the right criticize the left in a lot of terms of, like, because that's why I'm not a huge fan of, like, conservative pundits a lot of times, because the thing that sets Jordan Peterson apart is that he doesn't have that agenda.
He criticizes the alt-right. He criticizes any of the hate groups.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because any of those group think tanks tend to have those violent tendencies.
The problem is that you can't take the extreme of any specific group and use that as a straw man to represent the whole entire group.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
You can't place conservatives as all like these crazy Nazi sympathists who are like these insane alt-rights.
And you can't see the left as like the crazy blue-haired feminists.
Or Antifa.
Or
Antifa. Like the...
But one thing I will agree on is that there's probably more people who are radical on the left side than on
the right.
It's more socially...
I would say that now because that's just because we're in a Republican... We're under a Trump America, you know? Because under Obama, I'd say there's more far right.
Yeah, but like with Jordan Peterson...
With the Tea Party and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, crap, I forgot what I was saying. Jordan Peterson had a thing about the alt-right and Antifa. I can't remember what it was. I had it...
Really? Oh.
It slipped out of my head, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. But I think the original topic we had was, like, my own personal life.
Yeah.
Basically.
I hate one thing before we diverge from Antifa.
Before you
I just want to highly recommend this video. It's very entertaining.
What is it?
This dude, just one of these people that had, like, the balaclava on.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people that was at Charlottesville protesting. I don't know what side they were on. I think they were Antifa, but I'm not 100% sure.
It was like,
just swings this, like, pipe at this dude, and he catches it. And then looks at him straight in the face, and then punches him. Okay. And then they're out cold on the ground.
While we're talking about funny videos, what have you all seen the one with the girl, and it was a March for Life rally, or something like that. And then there's like a counter protest group of like pro-abortion, like women's right to choose people. And there's like this women's rights dude.
Is it the purple sweatshirt
guy?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, and then he freaking gets out, he like karate kicks.
Oh yeah. I remember when that video broke. I saw it right before.
Kicks her.
Yeah, and he like sticks his tongue out when he's revving up the kick. And he's like, I meant to kick your phone. And then the salon he worked at fired him the next day. Salon, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was funny, but yeah. So basically, I'm not one to like to talk about myself a ton because that's just not who I be at times. But
it's not who I is.
Yeah, but that was something that I felt I should share basically because like I was going through like a point in my life where like I was like a year prior I was going through like a lot of personal issues, just kind of like you know. The holy trinity of doubt, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
You know? I was, like, going through a lot of stuff where just like, oh, this would have been different had I done this.
Yeah.
So, and I was kind of punishing myself just, like, by indulging in a lot of things that I knew weren't good for me, but I was like, you know what? But I just kind of disguised it as, like, oh, I'm just living life, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of young people do it, so, like, what's wrong with that?
I really think, like, the message, like, your message that you put on there, that's something that a lot of people can internalize and try to better themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't have to, like, fully and radically change their life.
Yeah.
They're just taking a step forward and accepting, like, the repercussions of your actions.
Yeah, and that's something that I've had to go through a lot, because there's times where, like, I still experience, like, people, kind of remembering me for how I was then, and then something that I wish would happen now doesn't because they still can't get that out of their mind. And that's not anything against them because I would be the same way. Yeah. Because I'm kind of a grudge holder. I wouldn't even call it a grudge. It's just more of like... It's just kind of it's self-precaution because you don't really know if they've changed. I know how I am.
They
but,
could
like,
just be putting on an act. Exactly.
Yeah, and it was basically something where I was just like, and I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks before I wrote that, and I was like, I really need to like kind of put this out there because I'm sure someone else is going through similar things, and I've always been told, just like you can, like, from like parents, family, friends, just like you can tell us anything that's going up with you, like in your mind, and I was just like, yeah, I know that, but I would always kind of just kind of
internalize it and push it down.
Because I'm definitely a pusher. Just kind of push it down and internalize it and just, and then I was just, So I basically felt like I was kind of living in a state where, like, and I kind of go into detail on it, like, I was living in a state where I thought if I could get away with it and not get caught, I was fine, But then I figured out that, like, I would never believe people, like, the biggest punisher of yourself is you.
Oh, that's a fact.
That's
like,
100%.
because, like, there's so many times I'd be walking around, I'm just like, why does everything seem so gloomy and so awful all the time? Like, and you're, because there's, just life is hard sometimes, especially, like, making the switch from, like, going to high school to college is just kind of weird, like, stuff like that, and, and then you kind of take a look in the mirror and you're like, you know what? There's things that I can change. I don't need to blame the state I'm in on somebody else. And what I found is, of course, I still struggle with the same things I did, but, like, I have people that know about it now. So, like, it's kind of like a support group, I guess. So
power to you, man. I mean, it's a big step. You gotta. It's hard to take responsibility for stuff that you've done. That's so hard to do.
Especially if you've changed now, because you're just like, you want to, like, kick yourself.
You want to just, like, completely deny what you previously did and move on. In order to move on, you have to, like, accept what you did and say, yeah, I did that, but I'm trying to change and I'm trying to be better.
Once you acknowledge that you need to change and you're like, okay, look, I have a problem. It's not life. It's not other people around me that are making my life bad. It's me and my decisions and my actions. That is one of the most, because I think we're all young, but I think everyone has kind of felt that a little bit, or is almost guaranteed going to feel that at some point in their life. It's just a natural thing. Once you recognize, you're like, okay, I'm responsible for my actions. I need to step up and make the changes I want to see in my life, because, like, just pushing things out of the way and just not dealing with them and being like, oh yeah, I'll just cross that bridge when I get to it. It works
put it on the back burner.
It works in the short term, but the thing is, everything just blows up and it just gets more and more volatile.
Yeah, and it all goes at once. In my experience, just everything goes at once, and it's just a point where you're at a fork in the road where you're like, I could go two ways on this. I could just end. I could, like, you can just end your suffering right there, or you can just be like, I can just take just little things, like, and that's
baby steps. Cleaning your room.
Jordan Peterson changed my life, man. I'm just saying, like, I try not to use, like, because, like I said, a lot of people use him as, like, a political person, but, like,
he's not.
No.
When you read that book, man, that 12 Rules for Life, and you just read those 12 rules, you're just like, this is stuff I know. Like, this makes that, like, stand up straight with your shoulders back. Like,
get your house in order before you
criticize the world. Don't let your, or, like, this doesn't apply to me, but, like, don't let your kids do things that make you dislike them. Or that's something that I found with myself. It's like, why am I doing this?
If treat yourself as someone you're trying to help.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that you would think is like a no-brainer, but like he says in the beginning of the book, I'm going to get criticized for saying this stuff because, they're kind of cliche.
Yeah,
but he's like,
and we're in a critical
because
world,
they're cliche.
A lot of people,
say them.
It goes right over
because a lot of people mull over them. They're just like, I know not to lie.
Yeah, I need to make my bed. Yeah, I need to clean my room.
I still struggle with making my bed, Lamel.
Well, I think that's more metaphorical for just like the self-discipline to be able to get up every day.
No, I think it's literal.
Literal?
I think it's literally
making your bed.
Your bed. Or
because
you need to clean your room.
That's what because I'm naturally a dirt I have stuff strewn around my room everywhere. My roommate yells at me all the time about it. Like, I have my garbage can is higher than my bed right now.
Oh jeez, take out the trash when you get back.
Yeah, it's because I gotta go down 6 floors to take it out. But anyway,
do it.
It's a lot of work, man, and it's cold. Okay. But anyway.
Spencer's talking crap. But it's just because Thad beats him if he doesn't keep his room straight.
I think it's kind of a literal thing, like, to clean your room, because, like, in my experience, there's other things that I would do where I was just like, I can do that later. Like, you think that you can handle it, like, on your own, just, like, life. But then it like, hits you, and you're like, you know what? I'm letting the world control me. Because you control the controllables,
Yeah.
Like, cleaning your room, making your bed, setting it in order so you kind of know what to do. That really helps you, like, feel like, yeah, I have a purpose here. Or at least I have to strive towards what I really want to do.
With making your bed, what I've heard, I watched a video with a Navy SEAL talking about why you need to make your bed. And he said, if you make your bed in the morning, number one, that's your first step to having a good day. Like, one good thing that you've done that you could, move on to have a good day. And if your day sucks, at the end of it, you get to come back to a nice made bed. As like a nice little like consolation prize, I guess. And if it's a great day, that's just icing on the cake.
I think it's literal and metaphorical, because if you think about it, like one of the key like symptoms of depression is like the inability to do anything. Like you're like, people who are depressed, they have like trash rooms, like absolutely trash. They have so many unwashed dishes, like that feeling of helplessness.
It's an externalization of their inner thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, so your huge mountain of clothes or your huge mountain of dirty dishes is not only like a real physical problem that you have to deal with, but it's also representative of all these other problems that you have that you keep
it's totally
keep
indicative
ignoring.
of that.
So like that's why I think it's almost kind of metaphorical, but it does, like, cleaning your room and like, say, like, I'm learning to play the guitar. I make sure that I practice for at least 30 minutes every day, no matter what, because it's good to have that routine. It's good to establish that habit, because it's so easy to just be like, oh yeah, I don't feel like it today. I don't feel like doing this today.
Of course,
Yeah, and I mean, pushing yourself to try new things. That's a big part of like moving on and feeling like you have a purpose.
I don't know.
Like, if you don't try new things,
you
feel like you're stuck in the same cycle. You got to branch out.
Oh yeah, that's always something that I always like thought in my mind when I was like growing up. Because have you ever seen the movie Stranger Than Fiction? Ever seen that? It's probably my favorite movie just because it's like very helpful for me. It's like the only money. Yeah, it's the only movie that Will Ferrell's in that's not a comedy, but it's like
Really?
Yeah,
Pursuit of Happiness.
That's
Will
Smith.
Ferrell. Yeah.
Will Smith. That movie's great though.
Yeah, Pursuit of Happiness.
But
is
he's
great.
he's basically like this super like intelligent math guy. Like, he can do like any like problem in his head. Like a very routine oriented dude. Like he brushes his teeth.
Probably OCD a little bit.
Oh, extremely. Yeah. He sees everything as numbers, and he basically hits this point in the road where like basically he hears this narrator that's narrating his life, and he basically finds out it's an author, and she kills off her characters, so he finds out he's going to die, basically. Dustin Hoffman's in that movie, by the way. Just shout out to my man Dustin Hoffman. But he basically, like, he actually learns the guitar, because that's something he's always wanted to do. Because he was such like a, kind of inside the box thinker, that he never really wanted to branch out and do things that he wanted to do, because he kind of assumed that they were a waste of time. And yeah, in my own life, I just kind of found, like, just if you want to do something, do it. You know?
Yeah. Well,
like, if it's helpful for you,
don't talk about it.
Like, people always talk about, like, oh, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to be good at this, but like, I'm a pretty social person, but even
Shut up, Spencer. I'm trying to talk, bro.
You made me lose my train of thought.
You were talking about you being social and traveling.
Yeah, but like, even I think that it's hard to like get out of your comfort zone, and
yeah, the comfort zone is, it's comfort, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to leave it.
But the thing is, it's not really.
But it sucks.
It's cold comfort, though. You know, it's not like.
Because you know what you know what you're going to get out of it every day.
Yeah. you know you could be happier doing something else. Like you're stuck in a relationship. Yeah, you're stuck in a relationship that you don't really like, but you're like, oh, I'll just settle because I'm scared that I might not find someone else, or I'm scared that, or I'll just settle at this job that I hate because I need to pay the bills. And
I have like a literal example that I've literally experienced today.
What?
So I was at Snowstar snowboarding. Shout out Snowstar. I go there every Sunday. Anyway, so I was just booling, doing my normal, like, shredding routine on my snowboard.
As you do.
And I saw this rail, and I was like, I'm going to hit that rail. And then I just passed it, like, 10 runs. And I was like, I'm going to hit that rail every single time. And I was upset with myself every time that I didn't hit that rail. You know what I'm saying? Because I was talking about doing it.
Hit the rail?
I did hit the rail, but that's what I'm saying. I hit the rail, and I kind of fell, and I didn't land it. And I was like, man, that sucked, but I know I can hit the rail now. So it's like, even if you fail at doing something, you have like the courage and the power to actually try to do it.
You don't grow from success, you grow from failure.
Exactly.
That's one of the 12 rules, isn't it? Don't yell at skateboarding kids.
Yeah.
Remember?
That's what I actually was thinking about when I was doing it.
Because basically his defense of that is just like
they're trying
in the street
new.
the streets of Toronto. There's these like 15, 16-year-old kids that most people would consider burnouts that aren't going anywhere,
Yeah,
and they're putting their bodies on the line and they're risking to do something that they want, but the no skateboarding signs are basically telling them not to try, and like. There's no shame in trying, especially if you fail, because you learn things. Because Thomas Edison always said when he didn't invent that light, like when he couldn't find his way.
Tesla's ideas.
Nikolai Tesla.
When he killed dogs.
Yeah, but he's just like I never failed to make a light bulb. I simply just found one way not to make it.
Yeah.
So like you take failure and you just learn from it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just take that so personally when they fail.
One thing that's really hard for people to do is to look at things objectively from a third person point of view and just kind of view your life outside of yourself, because when you're caught up with your own ego and you're caught up with your life and you're biased towards yourself, but then if you take a step back and think about it in the grand scheme of things, like you think of your life, you're like, am I an interesting person? Am I a successful person? Am I a good person? Am I being the best I can to other people? And am I trying to better your life? I think looking at yourself from like an outside perspective and putting yourself in other people's shoes is something that people don't do enough. And I think that it works wonders for helping to make you a better person and advance you along. Because I was kind of thinking about that the other day. I was like, what special character aspects do I have that set me apart from other people?
And one of the things that I've heard is imagine the world without how much of the world would change if you weren't alive.
Oh yeah.
Not if you died, but if you just didn't exist. What would happen without you?
And not only that, but there's a lot of, because that's a thought of a lot of suicidal people. Just everyone would be better off if I didn't exist, and just you consider how would your family be if you didn't exist? That's from It's a Wonderful Life, right? That's the reason it's such a popular movie.
That is such a good movie, dude. I have never cried, but I've cried before, obviously.
I cry once every.
There's a man's man.
I don't cry, but that movie is very emotional.
Back to Pursuit of Happiness. That one got me.
Every time
got me.
The man was told it.
Old Yeller.
The man was told he couldn't do it, and he did.
Bambi, bro.
Not Bambi.
Bambi makes me cry every time.
No way.
I'm just kidding. But
any of the dog ones get me though.
What's the dude's name in It's a Wonderful Life?
Shoot, I don't know.
It seems like Barney or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, when he comes back and they're like, Barney, the richest man in town, because everybody loves him, and unlike that old super rich dude who everybody hates, and personal relationships is
way more
the most important thing you can have in your life, and having a strong support system.
That's why the money can't buy you happiness thing is true.
That's a fact.
It's true. Well, joy. It doesn't buy you joy, because happiness is temporary. Joy is more permanent.
There's a reason why there's all these raging alcoholic, drug addict,
millionaires.
People in Hollywood, because they have all this money.
They don't have any joy.
And they always think, if I just had a little bit more money, I'd finally be happy, And then that's got to be so hard, though, because it's got to be so much harder forming relationships when you're rich, because you can't tell if people
take advantage of you, and then people put you on a pedestal.
Yeah, they're like,
of course.
That's hard.
Are you trying to be friends with me because you enjoy who I am as a person,
or because I'm famous?
Yeah, or because I'm famous and rich, and you want
that's why celebrities usually only date celebrities.
Yeah,
and that's why they usually end in failure, because
The ones that are successful, they
Yeah.
usually get their high school sweethearts.
Exactly.
Like LeBron James, his high school sweetheart. Pick someone with you that's been there since day one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
who
That's been there before
you
you
need
were
that.
famous
You
and
need that
successful.
support system, man.
Yeah,
and that's I think a big reason a lot of people don't permit in certain, because they just think like my family would be devastated, my friends would be devastated, just like
yeah.
I've never been depressed, so I don't understand. Like, it's so sad that we live in a world where people with friends and family, people who care about them, and then people kind of just get sucked down deep into that hole of depression and darkness. I just think is really, really kind of sad, and it's something that we need to And I just think that, like, for a lot of people, there's a lost sense of meaning that kind of needs to be regained, because people are focused so much on, like, material things. And, like, same thing with, like, politics. Like, you can't debate people politically half the time anymore, because they take...
The moral high ground.
Yeah, what I was going to say is they take your dissenting opinion, like, so personally, even though you're not attacking them, you're attacking their ideas, because they associate so much of their identity with their politics,
And their
All right,
parties.
I think that's a good place to stop, and then kind of...
way to end it.
No, I'm saying, because
Really
we're going to segue into part 2.
Yeah.
Because this is a long episode.
Oh yeah,
'Cause-
we're doing a big boy episode.
I haven't seen these boys together in like
Anyway,
a month.
so we're going to cut this one. We'll be releasing part 2, probably at the same day that we release part 1, but it's going to be 2 separate things, so you can listen to them independently.
Beast.